the big price increases are all in the T1 productive stuff, like stuff that requires high amounts of titanium
Yeah.
and pyrite and Mexilon. Those are the
Battleships.
things.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't think Tech 2 ships have moved a lot. I mean, Moongoo's gone down recently, if you look at the
Well,
news.
there's been a lot of Moongoo dumped in the market, yeah. So I mean, obviously it's higher. I mean, even a Tempest is only like 280. That's not crazy. It's high. Don't get me wrong, but like,
That okay, maybe it's just the chips that I'm flying in. The Gnosis
what are
and
the
the
ships?
Praxis.
Well, the Gnosis and the Praxis are supply. Uh, how do I put this? They're
Sorry, no.
supply limited, right? You can't make more of them. They're only introduced at specific times in the market. So as Gnosis and Praxis are consumed, the price goes up, and eventually CCP does another. Here's a new free ship, everybody. Then the price drops to the floor, and then there's lots of speculators that buy them in the hundreds, and they seed their product back in the market, at a profit, and bit by bit that supply is eaten up. I mean, the fact Praxises are 133 right now in Gina is pretty reasonable. That's within about where I would expect. Like, I remember trying to buy them at 95 like 6 months ago, maybe. Like, that's only a 40 mil increase over the last 6 months, I think. So, and that's yeah. Like, so in May, they were up to 180, and then CCP did something where they released them, and you could buy them as low as 90, 95, and now they're chugging their way back up there. They're in 140 range. So,
I
that's
hope they
reasonable.
keep releasing these ships because they're actually like really fun to fuck around in.
Yeah, the Gnosis and the Praxis are actually really interesting in the way, and even the Synesis as well. They're all really interesting ships that have some really interesting design elements, especially the multi-gun rolls. The Gnosis for a battlecruiser is actually very mobile. It's got really good agility. And I mean, obviously, the Praxis costs half of what every other battleship does right now, so it's got that kind of going for it, where it makes it significantly more versatile in what you can use it for. So on
So
top of the fact it's already got like that massive level of versatility.
I've got some questions. So I know we're talking about ships, but I want to go back to this 1DQ fight. So Thrawn, Mad Cows, were you guys there at all? Helios, were you there? Was anybody else there?
I was not, unfortunately.
I was doing Logi for one of the Serb fleets, I think it was.
Okay. And how did you feel about it? How'd you feel the whole thing went?
For which side? I was mostly
For any
just
side.
doing dabs and pressing F1.
Your reps aren't on F1.
Why aren't his reps on F1? How are you to tell him
How do you know?
how
One
he
of them
should play EVE
F1.
Online?
You don't split reps,
I don't know.
bro?
I thought I was going pretty good for our side. Like the positioning was good. I don't know why you guys gave up on the iHub.
That was
Hon-
actually my question.
Honestly, I can
Oh
tell
no,
you
not the
exactly
iHub. The jammer. Like you guys
why.
had
Which
complete
jammer?
control over that jammer.
The one on the Fortizar grid or the one on the Keepstar grid?
Either.
Well, it's a together question. Which one did we give up on that you felt?
The jammer.
Yeah,
Well,
there's two of
one
them.
on the old grid with the iHub. Like when I was watching it on stream, because I was listening in, but I couldn't be there, so I was watching as well. And like you have 4 fleets surrounding it, and I'm like, then all of a sudden y'all start leaving. We're like, okay, I'm not gonna do
So
this.
Yeah.
it's important to understand, if you can't have all three effectively in a system with 3 jammers, of the jammers reinforced, taking down one jammer doesn't gain you anything. Because the way the system works, especially in that high tie-dye, we would have to take down that jammer, get a sign up, get everything in, and you guys would press a button on the other jammer to turn it online, and there would be less than like 15 seconds of like real in-game
See, I didn't
time.
know there was 2 in the system. I thought you could only have
There's actually
1.
3, right?
Damn.
So as soon as the other one is in cap, you can turn on one of the other ones. So, and then it just repeats the problem. And the other one's on a different grid, and we had been reinforcing it, but we were forced off by supers on the Palos grid. So it creates a situation where you can't really realistically control the Sino jamming state of the system, which means you can't move supers in, which means that there's no realistic way to have a fight.
Sounds like a pretty terrible fight.
I mean, I have more than a few ideas on how to deal with it. It's not an unstoppable problem. It's just one of those ones where we weren't actually prepared for it that day. So we we got far enough in, then we're like, yeah, we really can't do anything here. Let's just go. Like, and I don't think anyone really was interested in a 9, 10, 15, 20 hour fight till downtime.
Well, Dawn was.
Yeah,
Dawn was interested.
I
She
have
really
no doubt
wanted
there are
that.
many.
I was.
I have no doubt there are many people that were. But we've been pretty. I don't want to say cautious, but aware of how draining those fights can be, and especially because I think it was a Monday. We were just
Mhm.
like, yeah, let's not do that today. Like, it's we had the Keepstar armor timer later that night, and we're like, this is just not worth it. So, we didn't consider ourselves very invested in the attack. Obviously, as defenders, they were energized by it, but to us, it's like, okay, we went in, we fought a little, we're leaving.
I think
No
a bunch
biggie.
of the Europeans to fly with were kind of like happy they had some content because of the switch over to a lot of the US based timers, and so they had fun at least. So there was some content fun wise. At least
Yep.
that's how I heard it.
I mean,
Because I also watched on the stream too, right? So
the
unfortunately,
horde thing though looked like it was not just we kind of tried. It was kind of, you guys were kind of going like, hell yeah, 1DQ's down, let's go.
Yeah. Once you're in, you try to like energize and invest, right? So it's like, yeah, we're gonna go for it. But
Keep that momentum going.
We were
Yeah.
mainly pissed that they didn't form for the KEEPSTAR, so we went in to just kind of force them to form. And when they formed really good. They formed better ships and more numbers than we had, and the Nobe was
we
not
still outnumbered them.
reinforced, so we decided to leave.
There's no way that goons outnumbered you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe
You
total
talking about 1DQ or are you talking about something else now?
No, in 1DQ, Pappy still
In
outnumbered.
1DQ, they outnumbered us about 2 to 1.
What?
Like 1,000.
The fuck?
Oh,
Yeah, I was there. I was on grid, and they
was-
had about twice as
4
many
Eagle
battleships.
fleets, dude.
It
as
was
we
six.
have
The
units.
numbers,
It was
the
6 or
numbers
7
were
subcap
close,
fleets to
but-
5.
Okay, but on the
The
grid
numbers
that
were
I was
closer than
on,
usual,
we were
but they
outnumbered.
were definitely outnumbered.
Battle report shows 1,200 Imperium to 1,400 Pappy.
Well, I think what he's saying. So like
That's just the battle report. It
the
doesn't
thing
show
is
the things
that
they didn't actually get any
the grids
kills.
were separated, right? So it wasn't all happening on the same grid. So
There
like
were
there were
3,200 people in the system, and we only had 1,200.
Yeah, that's literally what we just
And
said.
that's facts.
Yeah, that's literally what
So
Ray
they
just said.
outnumbered us
You guys are
2,000 to 1,200.
well, I mean
Well-
that's people in the system, not in this.
And
like,
they
the
were
also
they were
counts
in
your fleet.
battleships and supers, and we were in cruisers.
Yeah, there definitely is a case to be made that battleships are strong in that environment, and we were in cruisers. Battleships have their own issues, mind you, but most of those issues were fine. And as I said, we weren't heavily prepared for this to be the one true attempt at 1DQ. So
Yeah, we were just trying to get them to form, and we did that.
And you just made us form, basically.
listen, if you guys would have not responded properly and with the force you did, we would have absolutely taken the 1DQ I have reinforce. But you
it's a
did
win-win.
respond well. No, I mean it's a victory for Imperium. Like, don't get me wrong here, guys. Like, take it as it is. It's an Imperium victory. Good job. You held the line.
We don't win though. That's not true. Stop
How-
trying to. You're giving us false propaganda, Billy.
I have a rant. How in the fuck are people watching more people watching this guy run high sec missions than any other Eve stream?
He's probably got it going on like a website or somewhere where
He
it's just like
does.
accounts.
First
He
of all,
does.
he's making ISK. He's teaching people how to make ISK.
No, he's not. There's no commentary. It's just ads and fucking missions. That's all it is. It's reruns over and over.
viewers and
Complaining that you're
giveaways.
not the top on fucking Twitch.
No,
Daddy.
God damn it! I want to be the top.
Don't worry, Redline. You'll get to like
You're
over
just a
200
little
by the end of
attention
the
There
year.
before the night is over.
You did
Don't
like
worry, sweetheart. You're doing fine.
We should
I'm
call
gonna
a,
start.
My show.
Billy, let's ping a Twitch CTA.
I'm gonna start running reruns on this channel of all the previous shows, just so you know. You're gonna
If
start
you
to see
notice,
everything come through.
I do
Let-
not do
Let's
Twitch
talk
pings
about
or
something more
test
interesting.
does that not do that in general.
Who is Bob's main character?
Huh?
Brother Bob?
Bob?
Why is
Big
that
Billy
more
Bob?
interesting?
It's not interesting at all. What the fuck?
What Bob are we
Because
talking about
Bob is
here?
I
actually
got
an alt,
something
right?
interesting. Billy, tell me who worm tongued you into attacking goons.
Himself?
Into goons? Worm tonguing.
Is it
If there's anybody, it'd be Pro God, I'm sure.
Who convinced you / seduced you to do this?
So you're telling me Pro God Legend walked up and said, "Hey, let's double team Good. Let's do it."
No, probably wore him down for like a fucking year.
Yeah,
And he
that's
finally,
a
and he
much more
finally
accurate.
gave in.
That's a much more accurate statement.
With that like lion mane of his hair, Billy's a sucker for that.
Damn, dude.
I've never actually met Pro God in real life.
Who's this Pro God Legend guys
You know
you
what he
guys
looks-
keep talking about like he's someone important?
You know who Pro God Legend is. Come
No, I
on,
actually
man.
don't.
Giggles.
All I know is he's a Louisianan.
Yeah.
And his
His
fucking
name, he's
team
Pro
sucks.
God Legend.
Was he in like Darkness or something?
LSU was trash.
I thought he was in Tennessee now.
Can
Christ's
confirm.
sakes.
Roll
Didn't he
fucking
start at Molly
Tide.
Segunde?
Roll fucking Tide, Bill. Yeah. That's why me and Bill are best friends.
Dude, I'm Razorbacks, even though we haven't won a game in 20 years.
I mean, y'all
Is
are
this
like,
football
okay.
things?
I don't know. I went to
Yeah.
college. I went to
Yes.
college at U of A for a year.
College,
dropped
college,
out,
college,
wanted to go to
something.
football.
Talk university, then we got a good conversation
I
going.
work Texas A&M.
Internet space game. Let's take the bullshit trolling out of the show and get back to actually talking about things. Thanks.
The Galante University.
Stop it. Shut up.
alumni of Orr University.
So I mean, does that pretty much cover that fight though? Like, is that pretty much it?
I mean,
There
it
was
just
nobody
kinda, like-
formed. There's nobody formed for the KEEPSTARs, so we jumped in, and then we tried to attack it.
Did y'all
It
really?
didn't work,
Was
and then
there
we
like
left.
even the slightest little minuscule of thought that we'd actually form for a KEEPSTAR drop when you already have however many it is?
You dropped 10 more.
Well,
it's not so much about you forming. It's like we
It's the
can't just
preparation.
not form, right? Like if we don't form and then all of a sudden you guys rage form and all of a sudden we're caught off guard trying to defend a KEEPSTAR, it puts us in a situation where incredibly bad things can happen. Like all of a sudden you
Keepstar to use now though?
But
yeah,
here's
of course,
the thing,
but
though,
losing
Don,
a
is that
KEEPSTAR anchoring
normally,
would be a terrible thing. It would be a real momentum killer, right?
Bill,
So
normally
we're not
you
gonna
guys
give you that
form.
opportunity.
Normally, you guys do something like you'll camp 1D the T5Z gate and 1DQ, or you'll set the Sino, like you'll turn the Sino jammer on so that we can't jump in. Like that's something that you'll make sure is prepared, and that's probably not something that you specifically do, but it's something that your defensive logistics, whatever the fuck, that's
I'm
something that
just here to
they
press
do.
F1.
Yeah,
Much like
Madcow's
the
just here to
KEEPSTAR and
press F1.
T5ZI, we expected the possibility of bombers. We expected the possibility of scepters. We expected the possibility of battleships. We know you still have a pile of ravens sitting there that, you're not going to use for anything else. So you have to give your enemy enough respect to at least respect their capabilities, right? And if we don't form, it's very easy to get caught off guard. It's very easy to get yourself in a position where the KEEPSTAR's at half health before you're really ready to go. And then you're in a position where you can possibly lose the KEEPSTAR, and we don't want to do that, right? We want to make sure that we win the victories that should be pretty clean. So that's why we formed.
So here's the TLDR, Bill. Just to make this clear. What they did was they came in. If they headshotted it, they would be like, haha, we killed you. If they didn't, they would be, haha, we made you form. So it's a win-win for them, Just like every time.
Nobody said, haha, we made you form.
Oh, I
Have you
got
seen
to-
Reddit, dude?
The
I got to press
T5Z was
F1.
full of those spams when we were camping it.
I got to press
Who was?
F1 on the little red boxes, and that made me happy. That's the summary of the fight.
This has been like standard null.
Oh my God,
nullsec.
Sandrin! Wow, I didn't even see you slide in here.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
man. So I'm not on the
Can I ask
inside.
you a serious question?
Well, let me just throw this at because on this topic, and you can maybe go to a different topic. But like from the inside, I got to watch on the stream, and I just kind of went and asked, "Hey, kind of what happened, guys?" And it really, for me, kind of broke down really simply. Right? They formed a few large fleets to go do something else. There was no resistance, and there was just a bunch of people there in fleet, So what do we do with them? Let's go try something. And hey, and they're 1DQ right there. Let's go try this. Had it worked, holy shit, right? If it didn't work, bro's got content. I think it really breaks down that simply.
Yeah, it's risk reward, right? The reward is high, or the risk is low. The highest possible reward is super high. Like, what's the biggest risk we're placing? That we lose a
From a
couple
line
hack
member,
fleets?
this is what happened, right? The supers and the Titans went after the Keepstar. The subcaps didn't have anything to do, so we decided to go to 1DQ and try to make a reaction happen, and we
That's
did.
called Kool-Aid.
Huh.
This is
Okay.
the goon saying this.
Great. Well, so we'll.
It's called sipping on that scissor.
Oh, how'd that prediction go? Let me see. Okay. So great. Does anybody on the channel know what the prediction was that I put in the chat earlier?
I know
Yes,
what it
I
is, but I
spent many
didn't see the
points on it.
result.
Okay. Well, don't say what the prediction is, because I
No,
want to make
I
sure it
won't.
doesn't go anywhere.
No,
So anyway,
zip,
let's.
zip.
Do you guys want to move on and talk about this this Keepstar yoinking? Because I was
No, not really.
fair. That's fair.
Hey,
So
Bill,
are we?
Lightning one or the destruction?
Which one?
Bill's just upset because he fucked the first one up, dude. Don't worry.
So are
The
we
what?
talking about the Keepstar that got scooped and stolen by pits, or are we talking about the Keepstar that destroyed in the freighter yesterday?
The destroyed one.
That was not ours, by the way. Just FYI, that was not a goon. That was a horde Keepstar. I have confirmed information about this. Not
Well,
us.
It's getting hard to keep track
unfortunately,
of the lost
it
Keepstars.
died in a goon freighter, so at that point, possession is 9/10 of the law.
Spy, dude. Spy.
That's actually pretty good.
Definitely a
That was brisk. That was brisk's fucking defense last time.
Now, I have it on good faith that nobody except for DJ's retirement fund controls those Keepstars. And on this show, are you willing to admit that there's a spy in DJ's retirement fund?
I've been
You're asking low level people. if
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
things
Oh,
like
we're
that.
doing
I
this
know,
again.
right?
We all know nothing. Okay.
You guys need
Well,
to
I know
get a
some
better opinion of
things.
yourselves, all right?
I know a
Don't
few
cut yourselves-
things.
Don't
We
cut
all know a
yourselves so
few
short,
things, and if we combine it all together, we make at least one knowledgeable person.
I
Let's
like
be
that.
clear here.
I
If we had a
know.
spy, we wouldn't admit it. And
I
That sounds like an
know
admission.
exactly what they're trying to do.
What
I
are we
wish
trying to
they
do?
would just give me some of the ISK. They're trying to like give away ISK to the poor. It's pretty obvious.
We're the good guys. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
Very nice of them.
on a
So then
lighter
why?
note, the third Sotillo of the day just died.
Ooh.
I had my Komodo fucking building in that.
Which
Yeah,
one?
no, man.
I
You're
thought.
just-
Did you have a Moloch building in the other one?
Yeah, but Billy let it survive.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I lost so many wyverns in production. It's a sad day that day.
How many? 140 now?
It's at like
Big Bill for
300,000 somewhere.
hey, Big Billy. If you give me
Hey.
a billion ISK and tell me what the next major ship that you have coming out, I'll make sure that Citadel doesn't die for a billion ISK.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right, it's legit. It's a legit thing.
Hilner, the best CEO is Peanut because he puts up with me.
No
Blazing Bunny, we're gonna stay in Goons. It's been pretty fun so far.
Uh huh.
It's because
I'm-
Jake is amazing.
Hey, Bill.
I'm
can I
sure
ask you a
that's something
question,
that's gonna
Bill?
happen.
Bill.
Hey, yeah, sir. What kind of question do you have, sir?
Yeah, sorry, I've been trying to get this one in for a while. If it seems like I'm gonna be real with you, buddy. You're one of my good friends. You know, it seems like you're gonna get kicked out of Delve at this rate.
Yeah, right.
I hate to say that, but it seems like it. So let's say hypothetically you get kicked out of Delve. Where are you gonna go, Bill? I just wanna
NPC
know.
Delve.
I wanna
You're
come.
never
I
gonna
wanna
fucking
come.
kick me out of Delve.
Bill, I have such wonders to
okay.
show you.
I just want to come be in the same station as you, Bill. Okay.
He's in all of them.
Of course, yeah, but I don't know. Thinking about it, like if you were to actually like use the math, I don't know. it may be like half a year to a year in that hypothetical that you speak of because of how long it would take for that to happen.
So
Really?
Like, what
you're
was the
joining
first
Dreadbomb.
Keepstar count? Was it like 60 something?
We're
for
down
Delve?
to 46.
With fuck that dude, we're on 39.
No, there's 46 Keepstars the Imperium owns left. There's 39 in Delve. There's 6 in Aquarius, 4 in Fake Aquarius, 2 in Real Aquarius, and there's 1 in Period Basis.
What was the
Well, at
first
least
count we
you've
had?
done
Like
your
60
math.
something?
Say again, sorry?
What was the first count we had of Keepstars? Like 60 odd?
Pre-war there was 58 or 59.
Yeah, you should have really just waited like a couple more months, and Jay could have gotten his 69th Keepstar down. But
Well, something tells me there wasn't 10 Keepstars going to be anchored, so.
you've seen how we anchor shit in Delve. What makes you think we wouldn't have done that?
You don't have
'Cause
the money to do that.
I don't. Well,
Goons don't have to do that. Yeah,
money,
right.
a lot of PI.
What are you talking about? Your finance guy went in the fireside the other day and said you have 4.5 trill left, and that's it. Did he
That
not?
was
War
that was
bonds,
kind of
That's
wild.
like
war bond.
that's like them. They have that much.
That's your organizational wealth. That's all you got.
That's their liquid.
Okay. See,
No,
you
that's
said
the non-liquid.
organizational wealth last time you were talking, and I
Yep.
completely disagreed with it. You were talking about how our SRP program doesn't give the lower man like an ISK injection. I've come into Goons with roughly 30 billion, and now I'm at like 160 billion, maybe.
I'm very proud of you. Good job,
That's
Crown.
an,
Talk
like,
about that's exactly what I've said
that's
they
an
do.
item ISK though, and I'm just like a low member too. Like I'm just an F1 pusher.
But that's exactly what I said they do. They push organizational wealth into personal wealth.
Mad Cows, you're a lot
No,
more
you were
active than most
you were
goons,
saying how
so
that didn't do that.
might
No,
be a
that's
low
exactly
member,
what
but
it
you're
does.
a pretty active member.
I've been very clear on this. Like the way goons do SRP is pushing organizational wealth into personal wealth, which is bad in my opinion.
Wait, so they shouldn't
I don't
SRP
see
us?
how
What?
that's bad.
No,
How-
I don't think
how-
they should SRP at 200% value. I think that is wasteful and
Billy's
it
saying
pushes
they should be
organizational
taxing
wealth
you guys more.
into personal wealth in a way that it shouldn't be done.
Who's
Because I
getting
think organizational wealth
The
has a
leader
much
should get
higher
more
opportunity for
percentage
usage in
than of
strategic
the
methods.
lower guys' efforts.
Jalen.
I could see how you say that. Like,
So, like,
but
organizational
having
wealth
low,
allows you to buy things like Titan caches and Dread caches and Super caches and Keepstar caches, all these things that at the personal level you can't buy, but allow you to engage in a war like this in a way that you otherwise can't, right?
yeah,
At
You
the
know,
but you're
personal
not
level, you
using
can
those.
buy it. So like I've got it. So this
no,
is
you can't, Redline. Let me be clear. You
well
cannot
then
buy a
how
Titan
do
cache
people
at a
have
personal
it?
level.
Okay, not a Titan cache, but you can buy a Titan, and as long as you've got the culture that supports, loyalty, being a part of the ship, a part of the crew, then that Titan that individual purchases becomes
Yeah.
technically a part of your cache.
It
So
becomes
I mean,
more of
but
an issue of morale
it's
and
not
how
that
you
I'm
can
it's
rally
not
your
necessarily
members.
that I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that there's a fundamental difference between those two economic models, and I actually was exploring that difference a good long while ago because organizational wealth is something that I've seen everywhere else besides goons, but goons they really do put the money in the hands of the line member, which
Yeah,
I like.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
wanna
like
But
say
it's
that,
important.
though.
It's important to understand though the member churn. So like people start playing the game, they make all their money, they quit the game. New players come in, they make all their money, they quit the game. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't happen for all players, but the number one source of Titans and Supers leaving the Imperium, leaving Test, leaving every group in Eve is them just not playing the game anymore. 100%. And all of that wealth that you've invested in that person goes with them.
I just want to
Don't
clarify something real quick.
Yeah, but your members had
also.
how much more fun did they have
Let this man
as
clarify
opposed to
something
you
real
having
quick,
more
like he was gonna do.
control?
The 200% SRP. I just want to say that that was only a Goonwolf thing. 200%
Fleet thing, too.
SRP.
There were multiple
And it never
corporations that were
equaled.
well up. No,
And it
I
It
understand.
never equaled more than like 20 bill a month extra for Goonwolf members. Just
yeah. There's like a cap as well. It was something like three bill, 2 bill. Every month you had a cap on how much you could SRP. So you can just
But
like
you
go
guys also
whelp
did
dreads.
shit stack SRP. You guys also did entire Dread Fleet whelps. Like the amount of wealth that was just literally thrown at the door because it was unnecessary personal wealth to me was incredibly wasteful, and I
They were
personally felt
effective though.
But now they're
effective
not
at
doing
what?
that anymore, right?
You take
So
10 dread,
Jay,
you kill a titan.
Jay,
That's very effective.
That's not
Jay
what I'm
is in
talking
the
about.
chat
Though.
though,
At
and
one point,
he can say it.
at one point, Goonswarm walked 80 capitals into Esoteria and fed everyone just to have fun.
That was me. That was me. I did that.
Yeah, and like, listen, to
Nice.
me, I'm sure it was fun and a good learning experience, but it's also 80 capitals that you now don't have to, strategically utilize in this war.
2 years ago.
Those are built. Yeah, those were probably built in 10 minutes.
I would have lost that ratting if I hadn't done that.
The original 600 capitals of the test cache, we still have 400 of them. Like, capitals don't just magically
Don't even
disappear.
talk about dread caches, dude. Dread caches are dime a dozen. Everyone has a dread. I bet you Snuff has a dread cache inside of.
Sure, but I also bet you
Delve.
money test dread cache is bigger than your dread cache.
No, it's not.
You want to
I
place bet?
highly doubt that.
I extremely doubt that.
You
Okay.
guys
Alright, guys, let's see it.
Goons
Let's
were
reveal your strategic objectives and how many
Goons were
dreads you have. I want to know.
No.
Whoop your cash is out.
Everyone put their dicks on the table. Let's see whose is longer.
Fucking table.
Who can piss
Without
longer?
knowing
from
anything higher
point
up,
A.
I'm gonna do some deductive reasoning. Goons were throwing one dread every 1 minute at those keepstars that were anchoring.
And then actually went on INN and said that they were out of dreads. Like, I could probably find the clip of him saying, "Yeah, we're out of dreads."
Are you talking when you say dread cache? Do you mean like the alliance
Guys,
or
I
each
just
individual?
wanted to do a public announcement on the for everybody here that's watching on stream. I'm out of Gnosis.
Cool.
No sigh, by the way.
Bill,
Anyways,
let's not change the subject while we're
so
trying to.
I'm just
they
making
did
a point.
stop giving Liquid ISK to members, though, right?
Maybe start with SLP in totals rather than giving people
I got a dread.
All I know is I'm looking at the DBSs for Delve right now, and it looks like a lot of them are sub 100%. And there are a few 50s and 60s in here.
But wait, so I'm trying to understand the new SRP system in Goons, because when I was in Goons, I was in Karma Fleet, so I got SRP from I've got SRP from Goons proper, and I got SRP from Karma Fleet. That's how that worked. So I'm sure that's still the case, but I've seen a lot of things about like contracts. So like the SRP has shifted from ISK to actual ships. Yes?
I will give you the answer, Fredline. Okay, so I have received both because I get primaried a lot because I'm usually in a scimitar, and everyone seems to hate them. I don't know why, but I have received fitted hulls, and I've also received money. It just
At the
depends
same
on
time?
No, either time. It was one or the other.
Usually, Goon SRP, they actually ask the pilot which they would prefer.
They didn't ask me, but that's okay.
Oh.
It's really,
I
I mean,
believe
it
it is
depends.
based
If
off
it
of
goes
the doctrine. Like certain
ships will do that.
doctrines get replaced, and others get
So, yeah, so certain ships they'll do that. But yes, I've received cash, straight cold hard cash, and bought another simi. I have 5 simis in my thing, so like I didn't even
So
need
what's
I don't want a hull.
what's the more frequent option right now? Would you say it's hulls or would you say it's ISK?
I've received more cash lately, but I have received 2 hull contracts. But
Okay.
100 or 200% of the SRP.
Caps are only ever been 100
on the cap.
as far as I'm tracking. And actually, you guys reduced your cap SRP below cap value, and there was a big stink about it on the forums. Was there not?
Nope. I got cap SRP. It covered everything. I did not spend the extra penny.
So was it 1.4 bill or was it 1.8 bill?
2.2.
What the fuck? 2.2.
Yeah, what guns you have? So if you have a T2 dread, with the T2 dread, you're gonna get a higher payout than if you have T1 guns.
All
So
I know
before
is I read all those threads on the reimbursement forum, and there was some annoyed people
Good
at the
old
payout levels.
SRP, the hill I've died on once before.
it was some unfortunate timing with the price adjustments, and then we had the big fights. but then
SRP is for the weak.
back through and fixed everything.
Who said that?
SRPs for pores.
It was probably Billy because they don't have SRP in his alliance.
Yeah, we definitely don't have SRP.
How long did it take you guys to SLP the?
I have to say something real quick. In this channel currently, there are an equal number of Pappy and Goon people. This is the first time this has ever happened, and I am
Pappy.
very excited for what's Rain.
Wait,
Now there's an extra Goon.
Oh shit, Brisk
God
is
damn
here.
it.
Yo, what up, Brisk?
Does
I can bring my
Does
token
Madani
if you want.
know? Does the Matani know that you guys are here? Just
No.
No,
does
probably
now.
not.
I feel like
Yeah.
we're
Telling on all of
neutral
you.
characters, so you know.
I asked ahead
All
of
right,
time.
I should probably state this right now. I have zero representation of a Goonwafa and Goonwafa
Stop
affiliates.
it. Stop it. Nobody
I can
represents
only
anybody but
represent
themselves on this
Israel
show.
and
You don't even
elitist
represent your
ops.
corp. You just
What?
I'm
represent
actually
yourself, dude.
Sandrin's
Come on
approved
here
representative
and
from
be
No, the
yourself.
fuck you're
Don't
not,
worry
Jeremy.
about. All right, now we're all yelling. This is what's happening
That's
now.
what happens when you pay attention.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Just continue what we were talking about. So SRP.
SRP is fun. I'm getting
I don't
money.
understand why
I'm
we're
making
hung
money.
up on it. Why are we
Okay,
hung
we're
up
talking
on
about
this?
Because
both
the
though.
goons traditionally have a much stronger SRP setup than the other alliances. So if they
Well, if
point
they
out the
have-
fallacies of such a setup, it kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like,
If they support huge personal wealth, there's no real reason to have huge SRP, right?
I think based on what Villy has said, it is obvious that there is a organizational cultural difference between Test and the Imperium. The
Between
Imperium
everybody
hands wealth
and the
to its
Imperium.
members. The Test wants to keep organizational wealth because they hand out ships and they have dread caches, and we have players with lots of dreads. Just a different way of doing business. There's no right way or wrong way. It's just a different way. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah,
to
it's
clarify,
completely
it's not
different.
not an
It's not
argument or
apples
anything.
and apples.
God damn it. It's not an argument or anything. It's just a discussion. Like I
It's
was
a
just
debatable
curious.
topic, right? Which is better, organizational wealth or
God.
personal wealth, right?
I-
And
That could be a
certainly in the case
conversation.
of building your organization, you want to determine which culture works better for you. I'm of the opinion that a strong organizational wealth leads to a better performance in these kind of long drawn out wars, which we saw and really, kind of
It
came
really
into its
depends
own.
on leadership, though.
Actually, but Philly, do you think that having all of that organizational wealth in the hands of a few people is not dangerous, given what has happened?
Oh, it's
in the past?
insanely dangerous. It's
That's why
insanely
I think goons don't do it. We've been on the other side of doing that to people
they've
so
been
often.
fucked over
We don't want it to happen to us.
Like
FCon.
We don't even keep the Titan cache in like upvote, right? Like it's so scary to have somebody walk away with 4 or 5 trillion ISK. It's not something you want to do.
where exactly do you keep the Titan cache, though?
Yeah, can you?
Honestly, our
Just back
Titan cache
up.
is currently split between like PZ, AQT, YC9, and T5ZI because it's so painful to move caches. Especially Titan caches because there's only a few people you can trust to do them.
You know what's easier when your alliance
You
can
can
just.
contract them to me if you want. I'm
Hold on, he's just
Yeah, I'll
dodged the
take a dread
question.
or two.
If it's not even in upvote, where is it?
I hold them.
It was
It's
going
under
so
his
well.
map, Chris.
It was going so well, guys.
I want to answer to
Billy
my friend
sleeps on
Jay,
the Titan
please.
cache.
I want to just point out that Jay asked an amazing question. I just want to say AOC 2024. Let's go.
Stop this. We don't talk about politics on this stream, and I will axe the next person who says anything about politics.
Did any of you guys see Bofa this week?
What?
Did you see Bofa this week?
The fuck is Bofa? No,
Is that some
one
kind
say
of
it.
meme
No,
enemy?
stop.
Ah, got him!
Here we go.
Sorry.
Bad.
I got it. You didn't get the speech before that I'm like out of my fucking mind right now, and I don't know what's happening. You took advantage of me, sir. God damn it. Well, I did put a poll in the chat.
Don's
See, I mean,
name, Foley. I really love it. I'm voting Don.
Donald, Rhea. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good
I have a
stuff.
coworker named Dawn, and I spell her name D-O-N sometimes because I know it makes me mad.
So you had some talking points for tonight's stream, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're covering them. We're going down the line, and we're covering them appropriately. We're just
Oh, there's a
we're
talking.
drifting a little bit.
Okay. In other words, can we move on to the next topic? Or can you?
No,
state
I
the
like
current
this topic. Can you stop trying to host my show for me?
There's a
Thanks in
talking
advance.
queue. Where is this list? So I cannot read it.
You can't see it because
not-
you can't even get in the
illiterate
club,
anyway.
dude.
I mean, Matt
I
Kels
got
doesn't really
banned
know
from
how
it
to read.
once for talking trash.
I'm always up for just chit chatting and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're just shooting the shit, like it's all good. Talking points are stupid anyway,
Does
right?
anyone have a running like campaign BR from FleetCom of like
Oh
the
my
Goon
god.
versus Happy War? I'm just curious. I want to know, like, there's a shit ton of structures that died. I'm just curious.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah,
we
The last
find
got a
it,
lot
one I
of
saw
Sandra.
is
We'll
the
set
one
it
that
up.
structures
includes.
today.
Well, I mean, structures are really going to tilt the balance of that BR because Pandemic Horde, there are elite structure bashers.
They're standing
Man, they are
fleeters.
carrying the torch on that.
Oh, they're doing an incredibly well job. I mean, Test by itself probably wouldn't stand much of a chance without Pandemic Horde standing behind them, lifting most of the weight.
Are we talking
here
about
it
in
is.
general,
We're
or
gonna need like
But just
countermeasures
bashing
and
structures in general.
Just those drone boats, F1 and structures, man. It's
I don't
it's a
know.
chore.
Exhilarating.
If we were able to bash uncontested, I think you'd be surprised how bashy we can get. But obviously, anytime you're dealing with a group that's larger than you, it's hard to do it alone.
Yeah, why do I have to hit F when I target the structure? The drone should just go there automatically.
They don't even go. They don't even go anywhere if they get attacked anymore.
Fuck these new drone
Like,
nerfs,
Do you hear
right?
this man? Do you hear this man trying to redirect the conversation? You motherfucker!
Well,
You motherfucker!
I was sitting here ratting and I like put my drones out, just like forgot to like.
Oh
tell
my god, no one
Time
rats
out.
here.
Got a relatively
anymore.
recent campaign report in guests.
Yeah, I
Just
got that
within,
here.
like,
I'm
the
gonna
most
link it
recent
in
week
the
or
Twitch chat. Maybe I'll post an article about it too. Okay, so here's this battle, this campaign report. Let's take a look at it. That's not, what is that? 146,000 members? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think it's raw number count.
Yeah.
Versus
I can't read
49,000.
numbers very well.
This is
God.
really off. This is really off.
Jesus.
Is it really off?
Yeah, because I thought the last that I saw there were almost 60 trillion between the two groups. That was lost.
Yeah, this is missing the last week or two.
Oh well.
I mean, just this past week alone, Israd's been racking up like close to 20 bill in kills a day.
Nice, dude. All right. Well, I'm gonna shift this up to current, and then I'm gonna
Yeah, this
launch
doesn't
it
even have
and
KEEPSTARs
analyze
on it. Like,
Too many requests, guys. Can you stop trying to do the requests?
oh no, maybe it does.
There'll be like a dot on this thing since we're in the trillions.
The last number that I saw was excess of 60 trillion.
No, this one does not have keeps on it.
Wow.
Does that campaign report include random high-tech jump freighters, though, Brisk? Because
It
I
does.
remember that's the one that's been getting passed around by goons.
Well,
a lot.
that's the better one because that
Yeah, just
'Cause
these
it's
random
closer.
freighter corps have nothing to do with Pappy. Are clearly just all fucking
it
village
doesn't
alts.
matter. It's still part of the war effort.
No, it's not. It's random people in high
Sure it
tech. It's got nothing to do
If
with
if
the war.
high-tech guys kill your freighter full of stuff that's going to the war zone, how is that not?
But the
No,
majority of
it's
those
not
kills are
like
not.
legacy freighters. It's random freighters.
Like, I know you've actually been killing freighters of some of our enemies at some points that I was like, oh boy, that's pleasant for us.
Well, it also doesn't include half the regions that people are in. Like that one didn't have Esoteria on it, didn't have Catch on it, didn't have. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't have Jita on it.
even if it didn't have Jita on it, there are other places in
Bruce,
Melbourne.
how have you enjoyed Burning Catch so far? Have you been on?
It's been fun. I've had a good time.
Brisk,
We were killing
I,
iHubs and killing jump
It's
bridges.
updated.
I saw you out on a
I
rope.
want you to know that the
Brisk,
first thing I
now
do
you
in the
know how we
morning-
feel.
Now, the first thing I do in the mornings nowadays is I log on my main, I sit in the GE KEEPSTAR, and I log on my alt, and I sit in the PUIG KEEPSTAR, and those stay up constantly on my monitor at all times.
Cool, man. Cool.
I'm just saying, Sandra, you should have given me my drones back.
They're in my Titan.
That's what I'm
Come
saying.
kill my Titan. I've dropped it
I
many
don't want
times.
to kill your Titan. I want my drones back.
I was there on the Hicks Keepstar the other day, waiting for you to come
bad.
kill me, but you didn't.
I would
All
feel
right.
bad
To
if
dance
I
in that
killed
tight
your
I
twig.
would get copious amounts of value from Villy if you killed my Titan.
Very
I'd love it.
Who's that?
But
What's
then
that
I
name?
wouldn't
What's
get
that
my
character
drones,
name?
though. There was a chance my drones would die.
Sandra and Stone is my Titan pilot.
Yeah,
Come
because
kill
it's his
me.
fucking main for some reason.
Is this?
Yeah,
is
because I'm
this
still
right?
training my ult. Fuck off.
Welcome to
realize-
2020. You
Wait,
can
wait,
have
wait. So,
Titans.
how many trillions
You realize
were
you're
you guys
baiting
saying
Isra,
this
right?
campaign is at?
Oh, you can't
I'm
kill
saying-
Titans that never
I'm
know
saying
better.
41.
Get it,
Bad
SLP.
cows,
I don't
if you
fucking
guys
care.
would please kill Sandrin's Titans so I can get my drones back, I would love you all forever.
I mean, fucking Seto's been trying to kill me for ages as well. He's been blue scouting me for months. Like,
Seto is more efficient at killing his own fleet mates.
Yo,
I don't know if you do it
Yo,
nowadays,
I need
but you used to be fucking blue scouting me constantly, and don't fucking lie about it.
Jay, I will
Sandra,
totally.
I mean,
give me a
back
voice
before the
clip
fight, right, back-
calling out
you were
Penis
blue
directly
scouting me
so I can
every
link it
time
to
I
him.
undocked.
Back before the war, when you were being an idiot with your Titan and G, yeah, I was thinking about killing it, and I may have been blue scouting
I was
it, but I
gonna-
mean, I haven't
ev-
done anything
every
recently.
time- every time I undocked my super, my Rorqual, or like anything, just all of a sudden, these wormholers freeburn 15 fucking jumps in a straight line and walk straight
man,
to where I am.
you're
I wonder what that
you're moving out
was.
a catch. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It's okay. It's good
Yeah,
business.
I'm fucking off to a different place. I'm having a good time.
Where are you headed to?
I'm joining.
Wait,
I'm
are you
joining
guys
the
evacuating
mining,
catch
okay?
already?
Probably
Yeah,
going to
totally done
LOWSEC
that
if he's
one.
orbital mining.
You said you've got one character in the GE Keepstar and one character in whatever fucking Keepstar. You're just staring at all day. Are you really having a good time?
Yeah, I enjoy it because I get to. I've said this before. I press button, thing go boom, 8 brain happy.
Okay, so 43 trillion altogether has been killed.
I've
'Cause
seen
I'm seeing
numbers that are higher than
40.
that. I don't.
I mean, well, yeah, you've probably seen the campaign battle report of every region in space, because that's what so that's kind of the difference in looking at it, is like the Imperium side. And I don't say this to say anything about the Imperium, because that's not what I am doing tonight. But the Imperium side is going to post the one that shows like everything that's been lost everywhere, because according to that, like they're counting anything that, like, say Init sends a 25-man Kiki fleet and kills a carrier somewhere. That is counted again. That's counted in their battle reports as like a victory for the Imperium.
We're gonna
Hey,
go.
it's trickle up economics, okay? Eventually, somehow, the money does go up, theoretically speaking.
Listen,
test
off of Billy's thought process here, that carrier could have been used for the war, even though it died
Sure.
later.
So could these 528 revelations,
They were
these
used for the
21
war.
Sotios, these 458 Naglfars, the 74 Fortizars, 734 Athenors. What the fuck?
And by the way,
Poor standing fleet's on fire.
You want to talk about the 600
gonna
bill
take
that
3
MSH
years to kill
All right, I posted
the
the more accurate report up there
What makes it correct and accurate though?
because
it includes
all their
regions. It includes
Yeah,
all
it
the
includes all their
regions that we're in.
It includes all the freighter jump freighter gangs from their high-sec
Yeah,
ganker
so-
squad and high-sec.
No. Legit question.
Can I say
Legit
one
question.
thing?
I just
Look at
want to know why he says it's the correct one. What is your
Because
criteria?
Can I just say one
criteria
thing here?
is
I think
it
I support
covers
both sides here.
the criteria
No.
is that it covers all of the areas of space, because this is a universal wide war.
No, it's not.
And if we kill something that's not in a region that's like directly under attack, did it not happen?
Who isn't blue to you, Billy?
I think goons aren't blue.
Dread bomb.
Using capitals for PvE does support war efforts
Also,
by giving you money to buy ships and flex your account.
Yes, we already
Them
established that
attacking
their line
PvE
members don't
You-
get proper
on this-
SRP for
Yeah,
their
okay,
lost caps,
so
so they really
On this
need
battle
that time
report,
to farm.
Red Frog is on this battle report. Are you kidding me?
Dread bomb is on Pappy's
Red
side,
Frog is on this battle
Green-
report. The neutral,
Green,
high
Pappy
sec,
side.
the freighter company is on this battle report on the Pappy side. Hello.
If anything, I would be on the Pappy
What
side.
do
I
you
wouldn't be on fucking Goon side.
Okay, that's
They
kind
gotta
of
get
questionable there, Brisk.
Gotta get the wins where they can, dude. Don't judge.
Who's the Commonwealth?
How's it a win? You're shooting transport. You're shooting your little truckers. You're shooting
Red
humanitarian personnel.
Rich,
for tests.
Rich, if they're carrying stuff for the bad guys, then there you go.
Oh my God, they're carrying stuff for you
If you cut
too.
off logistics, then the war
Yeah,
effort
aren't they
stops.
the jump freighter company for you guys that go directly to 1DQ?
I don't know.
Yeah, why is farming dragons on Pappy
That's
side?
why I wanted the criteria.
Actually, to be fair, Farming Dragons was hired to work for us for like the first month or two.
You mean flaming wagons?
Wait, they were
Flaming
hired.
Yeah.
Right.
Hell
They
yeah!
were right.
Yes, I was
My
at
brain's fucked.
Yes, I was at the burning of the Crescent at Fountain. It was interesting. There were two great fights. There were very little tie-dye. I had my taste of this war, and I grow wary of tie-dye very quickly.
I think my favorite thing about this battle report that you've posted is that you've literally taken every group that's lost a ship, every group that's not the Imperium that's lost a ship, and you've put them on a battle report and said that's Pappy. And
Isn't
this
it?
is
That's
Isn't
the
it,
top
though?
tier spinning right there.
Not really, no.
Really? Because
No,
I have like
you,
the
you
I
put
have, I
groups that
have
are
your
our enemy on this. Like you've got like triumvirate here. Like
All right,
you've got
Billy, bring
waffles
up your
here.
blue list.
maybe
I
it's
want to
changed
see
since
it.
the war started, but I remember at the beginning of the
Dread
war
Bomb
having
is
your guys'
here.
list of your
Is
guys' list of
Siege
blue
Green
lists
is here.
50
Purple
guys.
Helmeted
Exactly.
Warriors is here.
Hey,
What?
Red Alliance is
Wait,
on my side still, apparently.
Purple Helmeted Warriors is not. Yeah, they
that we
used to be
made
on your
the
side.
For
Purple Helmeted
what?
Warriors is not on your side.
You
So I'm
know,
in-
now that I think about it, it might be easier just like who is red to you.
So I'm in Dreadbomb and I don't identify
Simple
as part
Farmers
as.
is not on the Pappy side.
Yes, they are.
No,
Oh
the
my
fuck
They're
god.
not on your side.
no, the
That's what I
fuck
recall. I mean, they
not.
like to kill Brave, but I thought you guys
Neither.
had a deal not
You
to
want me
attack
to
and
hit up Mac
construction.
Pilot right now? Fuck
Wasn't
no.
there a big?
To be
Was there
fair,
a
though,
big
who
announcement
doesn't like
about
killing
this, like,
Brave?
months ago? I think I remember that.
They were on your side a month like a long time ago.
No, at no point has
They
Simple
were
Farmers
they were
ever
neutral
stopped
for a
killing.
while.
Yeah, like even when we were like, could you guys go to Fountain? All they did was fucking camp Fountain's fucking horde staging instead of initiatives.
11,
Like
10.
they were
How many
in the
faction
Discord, but they
Fortizars were
weren't
there at the beginning?
actually like blue or anything.
I
Well,
think
we
we've
have
only killed somewhere in the range of 45 faction
Is
Fortizars.
is Against All Authorities really considered to be on the Goonswarm side?
Actually,
Really?
they are. Yeah, they're part of the Ferrata crew.
And
So that's
Wow,
Red
look at
crazy.
kind
that.
of join in like March, February area, not
42.
January.
I'm
Well,
gonna
the
have
war
to get that
started in
tattoo off my
July,
dick
so
then.
I remember killing you guys in May.
that's
while you
crazy.
Yeah, we destroyed a lot of stuff in the beginning of this year. Like we killed a lot of goon towers.
Well, we're not even looking
Astros.
at the beginning of the year. We're starting
So
in July, you know, when the war started.
I have a question that's kind of unrelated, but I think important. Dunk Dinkle is asking, can I buy or LP store stuff with Spaceland Patrol or State Protectorate LP? Does anyone know?
You have
You
to
need to try-
trade Concorded for ORLP.
It makes me want to throw up. Seriously.
Is there a if it makes you want to throw
Too
up,
much
then go throw
playtime.
up. Like it's fine. But is there a is there really a Spaceland Patrol?
That's what he said. I don't think
I
Dunk
think
would
so.
lie.
Space Lane Patrol's a corporation in Eve.
Space Lane, not Space Land. That's it. It's Space Lane, I think. Right? Not land.
How's Volta's deployment doing these days?
I believe they're
They're
just
renting out
renting
Declan and making tons of money. That's what they're doing.
fat.
Those boys are making mad stacks. Yeah.
I wonder
we
what
could
it
have been
costs to
red.
rent from Frat like that.
Say what?
What's it
So,
cost to
can you
rent
repeat
from
that
Frat?
question?
Your dignity.
I
I'm
mean,
not
Volta doesn't have dignity, so
too
what are they
sure.
paying?
I'm not sure. It depends on what system you rent. If it has a, I spelled the security status, stuff along those lines.
iSpell doesn't even matter now. They just like rank
It's
my
probably
software
just a
with
straight
what I want.
ISK deal because fraternity is all about the ISK.
Well, they're making mad
Yeah, because we
stacks
don't
up in
have.
North right now.
Yeah,
think-
no, we actually have some issues with people like I'm not renting space anymore because of the ESS changes.
You
And
know what's
especially the drone changes now.
The
I don't see
combination
the
of dynamic
ESS as a
bounty system and ESS both hitting renters is, I think it's personally a good thing, to be honest.
what you got against renters?
Yeah, I
it's
like
like
the changes.
Game? It's
It
awful.
really is against multi-boxing AFK ratting, but it doesn't really hurt botting at all.
Billy, do you
Oh.
guys have any renters?
Yeah, we have some great renters, actually. Every day I hear our renters are the best renters ever when they show up in Delve and start killing people. Like, Test is pretty picky about who we rent to. We've probably chosen to not rent to, I don't know, I don't say
Have
hundreds,
you
but at least
have you
dozens of
ever
groups.
rented to any
Because-
armed children?
Honest question though, why would you be very picky about who you rent to when you're not picky at all as to who you blew?
We're picky about who we blew to, but when it comes to who we rent to, it's mostly a combination of you want to have renters who generally you don't consider to be bot farms, because usually that just leads to you losing all the money in an egg wallet anyways, and it's just good citizenship. I don't know how to say it. And
Have you ever, as Test Alliance, ever been neg walleted for having renters? Or
we have
bots
only
or
been neg walleted one time, and that was when we got Tickles renters in Esoteria the week after we got them. Because
I remember that. I remember.
yeah, that's the only time we have ever been neg walleted, when we inherited Tickles renters and then we kicked them out, 2 days later and purged them, right? So It's that's the only time we've ever gotten an egg wallet in test.
How many renters do you guys have?
It varies by the month. Like individual groups, like at least 5 or 6 like large groups, medium-sized groups.
So a fraction of what you have blued, then, right?
Well, regardless of the blue stuff, I'm just trying to figure out how many renters you have. Because
What's this focus on blues?
Blue donut.
It's
Bad.
we're just
The croissant. We've talked about this.
Is this really what the Goon line members spend their days talking about? Like all day?
He
Is
just
this-
wants to know when there will be peace and Eve.
Never. That is a good question. Because a part of what I wanted to talk about tonight was like, do we think we're ever going to see another war like this?
I hope so. I think like the war that we've had recently has been the most fun I've had in quite a long time.
Oh yeah, hell
Yeah, but do you think that there's going to be do you think that it's going to be able to be funded? Just because all I'm seeing,
Frank's got nothing to do right now but farm.
Win or lose, for some people, this is going to be their last.
That no card. That's all you got to do.
That what kind of card? I'm sorry.
Well, me.
You gotta swipe that nose like a credit card.
It's hard to say if there will be another war like this after. It takes an incredible amount of time dedication and personal dedication, and it requires just the right set of circumstances that force the continued commitment from both groups. COVID has played a role as well. To me, I don't know if you will ever truly have another war like this, but you'll have big wars in the future. I just don't know if they will be quite like this. And to be honest, my hope and my goal is to ensure that we don't have wars like this. My hope and goal is that we can downsize, large scale war content to a degree in the future, so that we don't have to fight a 30,000 person empire to have the meaningful war in Eve.
Just to be fair, though, you'd be able to successfully downsize the 30,000 war parties if you just stop bluing literally everyone.
Not really. Like, it's important to remember that if we hadn't blued everyone, as we saw yesterday when we went into 1DQ, right? Even then, it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough blues. So when you say, well, you need to keep bluing people.
I just had the coolest assassination.
You really don't, though. If you want to focus on smaller engagements, you need to reduce the amount of people that you blew and then spread out your conflict over space. Like, I get it. It's a lot of fun right now.
What do is kick out initiative and then remove half the corpse, so they can do that as well. Then is what you're saying.
That sounds
make
fair.
it even. Make it even.
I don't speak for goons, but I would be more than happy to kick out the initiative.
Well, unfortunately, your leadership would not be. But what I'm trying to say, like memes aside, right, is that to have meaningful conflict in Eve, we have to break some of the bonds that currently exist. We have to currently break down the biggest groups so the other groups don't feel that they have to bulk up to be at least a competitor of that group, right?
I just don't know
really
how I
awkward...
feel about the largest group talking about breaking down groups. I just don't get it. It seems like an oxymoron.
Because we are only a temporary group, right? Like, as soon as this war is over, everybody knows that NC and PL are going to come try and kick Tess' ass, or Tess is going to come try and kick Fraternity's ass, or Fraternity is going to come try and kick our ass. Everybody knows that the bonds that hold us together, it's not, friendship or some true long-term love for each other. It's,
it's not,
we want to kill
League of Legends.
I don't know, man.
Right?
I gotta say, I think Israd is full of friendship and long-term love. I'm not really sure how you guys in Test operate, but every war that you guys have won, you've been the superior numbered force. You're always the people that are the aggressors and always the one that have blues. I mean, it's cool. It's cool
You're a
punching
smaller
down.
number, of
and I
course.
get
You've
it.
got tighter bonds. He's a huge group. Bonds don't
Wait a
hold that
second.
big with huge
Hold
numbers.
Rich, that's not true.
That's absolutely true.
We are very.
Hey, is
You
this
cannot build
number
the bonds
right?
of group even remotely close as large group.
Pretty
What
sure that's
number?
just anthropology.
So hold on,
actually, to be
hold on.
honest,
This is
but-
important. So faction Fortizars, right? We've
Yep,
killed
that's
42 of them in Delve. There was a total, or not just in Delve, but everywhere else too. But there were a total of 142. Does that number sound right, or does that sound low?
No, that sounds about right. There's one in almost every system, right?
Are
What,
there only
Fortizars?
100?
So what I've done with that
Faction
Red
Fortizars.
Red Line, what I've done with that one is I've
I
taken
don't know. I
every-
don't really follow bashing buildings and whatnot. It's not my
Shut the
thing.
fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
What
There
I've
was-
done-
I don't understand the point. Are you just
Are
bringing?
you okay? Is everything all right?
Before we invaded, Fountain, Quarius, Delve, and Period bases had basically no faction Fortizars removed or pulled. Almost
I don't-
all of
I
them
don't-
were there from the original.
I don't care how many Fortizars were in Delve and Pure. I'm talking about total.
So what I did with that red line was I took the scans we've currently got and I've checked for Dracarys, Marginis, Prometheus, Maria, whatever the fuck it is in Horizon, and that's saying there's 142 faction force in Delve and Quirius.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What I was looking for, because
I'm not saying that's the total game.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, is how many were in total in the
Nah,
game. I'm sorry.
I've got fucking no
I
idea.
believe the
Okay.
number is 1,100.
Okay, because I was gonna say there's no way that there were only 142 and 118 of them have died, because those things would be immensely valuable. Okay, sorry, that's just
No,
that's
there's
just me.
142 faction force in Delve and Quirius.
There's like 68 Morios, if I recall, just under 100 of the Horizons. Marginis's, there was like 170, I want to say. The Prometheus and the Dracuis, I think, had like 300 each. And the Morios had 67, if I recall. Log, it's still super easy to search. Just search like Faction Citadel Eve or something like that.
I think someone said it best that you guys are just coming for the trophy case, and that's pretty funny.
Who's coming?
Yeah,
for the
so
trophy?
Prometheus Fortizar is 441, Marginis 188, Dracuis 398, Horizon 114, Morio 68. So I was a little off. There's just under 1,200.
It's a lot more than I thought there was, you know.
Yeah, I thought there was like 500.
The
Anyways,
Prometheus
sorry,
and the Dracuis with about 400 each is where it's the big numbers are. The Morios are super rare, right? 67, and there's already been a few lost. And the Horizons, the Gold Caldar research ones, at 114.
There's like 6 total of the Marias in Delve and Quirius. It's not including the PB.
Yeah, period basis it has 2 of them still. I think one of them is possibly dying right now. Actually,
I
let's look on the kill board.
I invested.
Oh, right there! What a great lead-in! Died 12 minutes ago. Morio Fortizar, period basis. Woohoo!
Nobody cares
Uncontested,
about
right?
period basis, though.
Yeah, who cares?
I mean,
I don't really care about
you
like
did.
random Fortizars, but Morio Fortizars have a lot of history with them, right? That's one of 67 that'll never come back. Just died.
Oh no!
Why are you killing them?
Because you won't transfer them to us.
You won't sell them, so we got to kill them.
You don't have to kill them. You can leave them alone.
No, they
We
need
have
to die.
kill them.
They're not in Delve. I thought Delve was the target.
Everything painted goon must die.
So speaking
We
of
don't
which,
care about Delve.
You keep harping on this whole goon thing, but weren't you guys a bunch of bullies to Providence too?
That was PL.
Hey, I'll have you know
Pretty
there
sure
were still
Test
like
was,
Sure,
6 or
everyone
7
was
faction
bullied
forts in
Providence
Providence.
at one point.
Right?
Dunk's trying to talk, but it's not working.
There were still 6 or 7 faction forts in Providence, alright? Something
He
like
needs
that.
push to talk if he doesn't have it.
No, he doesn't. I'm not in push to talk.
I'm not a
Redline
push talk
fix
either.
that. I'm gonna start kicking you guys if I hear one of you fucking.
Sorry, yes, I was being. I meant Test was bullying them.
tested a lot over the years trying to help Providence. There's only so much we could do, but we always did our best to try and help
Also,
Provi when we could.
you always pick on your little brother, right? Like, come on.
I just want to point out that if there's any Fortizars that don't want to get destroyed, you can always trade them to Inkle Industries for holding till after the war. I'll take very good care of them.
Billy, I do want to ask, what's gonna happen to who do you think's gonna take SAT? Are you gonna ever abandon like Catch in the south now that you're moving to?
Yeah, we have a rough
Delve?
idea who's gonna slot where. It's not necessarily for public consumption, but you know, as we move
Come
westward.
on, where's the fun in that?
Could you tell me where I'm gonna live after this war?
What alliance are you in?
You're gonna be.
I'm in
Please come to
Northern
Catch so I can
Coalition.
fight you.
If I had to take a wild guess, you'll continue to live in the best area space in the game in the drone regions.
NC dot like Horde Renters or something.
Yeah. No.
I thought Pro God said that Delve in the southwest was the best part of the map. That's what he said on your little soda thing.
Listen, man, they're saying goons are
The
poor
best
too,
part of
but
the Southwest, or the best in the game? Because
The best
I'm
part
pretty
of
sure.
the best in the
I'm
game.
pretty sure
That's the
everybody
best for
knows that
various
the drone regions is by far the best, blob of space in the game. When you
Well, I
have
mean-
no NPC space and the
How
highest
long
system
do you think there's
density
NPC
of.
space in drone lands?
Like with the way that CCP are managing the game, there's not going to be any good space left.
I don't know, man. I think you guys don't give CCP enough credit. They do a lot of hard work, and they're really trying to build a better game for the long-term health of EVE. And I know a lot of people shit on the shitty things they have to do sometimes, but they made a choice that they were going to fix things, and fixing things isn't always fucking fun. You can take all of the fucking things they've done over the last year, and yeah, ESS, yeah, dynamic bounty, yeah, removing the ore, all this other stuff, but all of those changes are building towards a better foundational EVE. And yeah, they suck for some of the people whose gameplay wasn't, healthy, let's say. But
Well, I mean, they
the
really
reality is
built
the
towards that
vast
flex cell
majority
they
of
just
those
had.
changes,
But
the vast majority of those
CCP has to
changes have been
continue to make
positive and moving
profit, or
forward.
they will go out of business also.
Jaylee can't hear anybody because he keeps.
It kind of feels like they're having trouble paying the rent and keeping the lights on. They
CCP is making
destroyed
more
the-
money, and their company is being better run in the last couple of years than they have ever been. And any debate about that is moot. They are doing so well as an organization, and I think people really sleep on the fact of just how well they've done before and after their reorganization.
They announced that in 2017 FanFest that 2016 was their best year of profits yet, and then in October after Vegas, they laid off their entire community team except 2 people. So I really don't give a fuck about their profits or their revenues because they still make stupid fucking decisions
Yep.
about it.
They're still tie-dye. When's the game gonna, not have tie-dye?
Madcast.
It
Tie-dye
probably
fixes
will
lag.
always have
Are you
tie-dye.
seriously asking when is there going to be no
I
tie-dye?
want
That's
a
not a
big
bad thing.
battle without tie-dye. I want it.
Guess
Well,
what?
that
You're
would
never
be
going to
pretty
get
cool,
it.
to be honest.
Go continue to live in dreamland.
we're gonna get it. Yeah, we're
I
gonna
think
get
one
it.
of the best
Yeah,
fights
we're
in the
gonna get
game
it.
that never
Okay.
had tie-dye was when Darkness and
Was that
GOGG
highest
fought
ever
Snuffed
profit
Out
thing
and Pure
before
Blind
or
with their
after the
Titans.
sale to the
I heard so many good things
other
about that fight and how many people everyone loved it.
Yeah, that sounds like it was an awesome. Like I remember watching and studying the video from that pretty comprehensively,
01Y?
and it looked super. Like I think it was a 1Y or
Yeah.
that fade area.
It was 01Y, yeah. I like the best fight I've ever heard where it's been like a large scale with no tie-dye was that fight. I mean, every time, even guys I asked from Snuff like that have been that were in that fight, I asked them like how it was, even though they lost that, like they still say it was one of the best fights they've ever been in.
Well, it's especially funny because they screwed up so hard, right? Which is
Oh yeah, they fucked up.
it's just kind of funny because normally in heavy tie dye you have all kinds of time to not make those mistakes, but when you're not in tie dye, the random sino in the wrong location, there's just no time to react and properly assess the situation like you do in tie dye, which is really unfortunate, I think, because the slow speed of tie dye really changes the dynamics of every decision you make as a fleet commander, where you're not constrained to making a decision every second kind of thing. You have minutes to, in some cases, to debate what you're going to do next, right? And it creates this I think it's almost an unhealthy dynamic where it allows people to take so much time for every decision.
I mean, it also contributes to people that can't make decisions really quick being able to FC. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Hey guys, what's going on in here?
Damn.
Yo,
Jesus.
what's up, Caldra, bro?
Someone's giving someone's bringing the trash talk back to
Well,
Tuesday.
I mean, if you're going to say something like that, I mean, would there even be a Goons from FC team then if without tie dye?
Headcuz,
I mean,
nothing's happening in
probably
Eve
be
right now,
bigger.
so we're gonna go play some Among Us. Come join us. That's all I wanted to say.
That was pretty good though, you gotta admit.
Is that really all you wanted to say? I thought you wanted to come in here and howl like a monkey.
What do you mean?
Cauldron's too much of a gentleman for that.
Are you kidding me? He literally said these words. Hold on, he's gonna delete it.
That was just a trick to let you
He
to get me
says,
in here, fam.
he said, "Let me
You know
in.
you can't
Let
resist.
me in. I want to make howler monkey sounds and be relevant." Jeez. Are you even gonna make a single howler monkey
Yeah, let me hear
sound?
your best howler monkey.
Quietly, quietly, quietly.
Quietly.
That's pretty good.
Sound
Right?
like a drunk redneck.
So Bill,
That was Bill talking. That wasn't a drunk redneck.
Wow, guys, that's fucking rude.
we love you. It's
One day
okay.
I'll get Brisk to give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
No,
today?
I mean,
Just now?
oh yeah.
So
Yikes.
to Villy's point
That's a
about the
sexy
revenue and
blue.
everything, yeah, they're doing well this year, but I think a lot of people are really tired of all these fixes because they don't know why they're fixing stuff. It's never
they're
been
not
fully explained
fixes.
why they're fixing things, or at least why they're claiming that they need to fix things. Like we hear The amount of wealth generation is unsustainable. The amount of mineral wealth generation is unsustainable. But we don't know why, and they haven't explained it. And since, as Merck said 2 weeks ago, they're the central bank, they can print money. If they want to take money out of the game, they can do that too. I don't know why they had to nerf all the inputs
Because
to the
there's
level that they have.
There's a portion of the player base that is very unhappy with that type of thing, and they are leaving. They really are leaving the game. Like the soloists, the small
They're unhappy
figures.
with what though? What are they unhappy with?
They're unhappy with the
Yeah.
big blocks getting so much power that they can't do anything.
But is that really true? Because we're seeing a war now where the biggest of the big blocks that had all the money and was printing us like it was going out of style is getting
I don't know if it's true.
blobbed by
But
the rest of the
that's what they
game.
say.
And they're
But
taking the shit out of it.
guys like Bjorn B and
But
stuff
it's
like
important to
that.
remember that this war would not have been possible without the changes that already took place, right? If the mining changes and the Rorqual and ore changes had not taken place, this war would have never been possible.
Are you saying that because you wouldn't come and fight, just stay in like work mine?
No, because the changes would make it so that basically all of the losses through Fountain and Quarius, and we never would have made it past Quarius, are just irrelevant, right? Like when you can truly suicide 2,000 battleships every fight and it not matter, right?
Yeah,
But I don't think that I don't think that would have been possible anyway.
I can 100% tell you we were literally like we were watching kind of a scale, I think starting like January, where we're like, okay, this month they're making this much, we're making this much, and it's higher because of revenue from other sources, whatever. And like, okay, so we're catching up bit by bit by bit. And like come July, we still hadn't caught up, obviously, but we knew the deficit was not near as insane as it had been before.
The Rorqual changes definitely made this war possible. And
I don't know. I think you guys would have done just as well. And frankly, the fact that you would be in range of us and we would have had to dock the Rorquals up anyway, it wouldn't have made a big difference.
We never would have got in range for you to force you to dock the Rorquals.
I don't think we would have been able to break into.
I don't see it. I don't see you guys doing anything differently than you already did to get in where you were.
Honestly,
the
you had
reality is
a good
more
game plan
numbers,
so
more
far.
numbers.
Can't replace their losses is a big deal.
But that we've never gotten into a situation yet where we've not been able to replace our losses, and that's why we haven't been able to take fights.
Why'd you
That
stop
hasn't happened
suiciding
yet.
into KEEPSTARs then?
Because you guys bubbled the entire thing, and we couldn't get on grid fast enough to stop.
Why do you
you
not?
ran out of ships.
Why do you not burn money?
We all had
Reason
enough
why you
ships.
stopped.
That's not why we stopped.
You can't play both angles of that bubble on that Keepstar. You either wanted us to fight you or you didn't. Like bubbling it means you didn't want us to fight you.
Oh, bubbling. What actually? The funny thing is, we didn't even have a fit prepared for the Keepstar because we still thought you were going to suicide in. The thing
It
is,
didn't need a fit because it was bubbled so heavily.
We didn't load the grid. I was in that fleet.
Yeah, unfortunately, everybody on our side managed to load the grid. Everybody on your side didn't. Sure.
You guys were there 2 hours
guess
ahead of
showing up
time.
3 hours prior must be part of the game.
It's important to remember our
If they
expectation was that the bubble wrap would prevent bombers and interceptors from doing applied damage. It would not affect Ravens, it would not affect Dreads, and we would get the highest feed we got on a Keepstar. That was our expectation.
Don't
Instead,
you
you
think
guys
the
chose
bombers
not
would have
to.
stopped coming in if they couldn't do anything?
We did
useful?
not listen.
Go
We
through
were
those
there.
bubbles and slow boat to drop a bomb. I would completely slow boat for 5 to 10 minutes just to drop a bomb in that goddamn piece of shit Keepstar.
You wouldn't have been in range to drop the bomb. That's why the bubble worked.
Would have still worked if they would have had the same amount of ships as they had in the previous Keepstar.
Correct.
Even
If their willingness to suicide Dread was still there, it would have been no different than any other Keepstar.
I mean, we are suiciding Dread still. We just rickrolled that guy in the Revenant the other day.
I'm talking about the Keepstar fights.
I mean, I was on a Keepstar. I was there.
I mean, listen. At some point, I mean,
That's an
look, you guys.
example of
The
why
Keepstar
changes
fights,
actually
getting
did
into
make
NPC Delve was one thing, but you guys had already glassed Fountain by that point.
I'll tell you what. You guys take all your Keepstars, get them out of Delve. We'll do it all over again. You can start dropping them in NPC Delve again. You guys can get fed again.
But you don't want to come fight us? You just want us to pack up and leave? That doesn't sound like very much fun.
No, I said pack up and leave, and then do it over.
Yeah, it sounds dumb. That's not going to happen.
Well, the correction test haven't glossed anyway.
But didn't you enjoy getting fed so much?
We did.
Yeah, I
actually.
get fed every day.
Ducks or Titans, and we all fight it out in the next big Keepstar fight, and then we'll be done. If you
I
really
wish
want
you would do that again so I can utilize my Hordalts to loot more.
I can tell you the expectation really was to be fed on the bubble wrap Keepstar. I circled that fucking thing in a jackdaw. I don't know how many times, waiting. If we didn't think it was coming, we wouldn't have put that many people in the strategic areas we thought we needed to try to defend it to give ourselves a chance. The bubbles were just another level of protection against the bombers to give us a chance. That's all it was.
I took a day off to be in that fight.
Yeah,
Sons of
yeah.
bitches.
Seemed more like you guys just
Really,
didn't want to
people
lose
like
another Keepstar.
the expectation really was you guys were just going to come as hard as you did the previous times. Legit, straight up.
And I think that was our goal at the same time, and it didn't work out for a variety of
They
reasons.
were going to. The first fleet.
I did not spend the entire 2 days before
Right.
working on commercials and all the kinds of stuff for
Exactly.
another 14-hour stream.
Exactly.
If
So
for
the
us to
point
just
is-
stand down, I would have not bothered.
Exactly. The point is that it was Mad Cow saying, like, look, we wanted to fight. We didn't bubble wrap it because we expected you not to fight. That was not the point, right? So really, both sides wanted to fight, and other things intervened, and we
Correct.
didn't.
So again,
benefit for us.
Back to the point that I was making, which is I don't see no Rorqual nerfs having any impact or change any of the stuff that's happened in the war so far, because all of the stuff that we would have been trying to do, we would not be able to Rorq mine while we're in the middle of a war. And as soon as you guys got within jump range, you could have cleared Fountain without, and it would have doctor stuff up.
I think what he's trying to say is the 2,000 Ravens, for example, if you look at that, right? Had that happened a year earlier, within whatever 14 days, 2,000 Ravens were instantly back, and faster, obviously, right? Because you would have had so many in production because all the resources were just like, let's just have a little mini op behind our shield and go get more. And all those changes, though, means the tactics and the mechanics and the logistics behind the decisions have to change. That's just the reality of it. So, I totally agree. I'll actually agree with you. Yes, if you're fighting and you're not losing, or if the fight doesn't happen or tie-dye doesn't happen in the way, then it doesn't make a big difference. But the reality still is in the back end, the minerals aren't there to build the ships, and other strategies have to change accordingly. Both sides.
I think if for nothing else, it changed the morale of the attackers to give us confidence to attack. Even if it isn't a real reason, it's a morale reason. It allowed us to commit the attack.
Well, I can understand how you could say, all right, they made these changes so the other guys aren't going to have as overwhelming an advantage before. But I think if you look at it, the overwhelming advantage only matters when you can use your super cap umbrella to protect your Rorks, and you don't have Omeka and the rest of these guys out there doing what they're doing. But if none of those changes went through, then those guys would be doing what they're doing. You guys coming in, everybody's on the front lines, everybody's fighting. They're not going to be back crabbing, and I don't see there being a huge difference. I think whenever you decided to come and to employ the strategy that you had, which is to grab the 4 or 5 biggest groups in the game and put them all against the number 1 guy and the number 5 guy, then yeah, that's going to work. The numbers made a big difference. So I think you guys would have been fine even without the changes. My issue with the changes is just that, like I said, and we've talked about before, it feels bad to the average player who feels like he's not making as much progress when he's not making as much money as he was making before. And when the amount of money in the game, you can just add things to take money away. They wouldn't have had to nerf all of the inputs if they simply created more outputs. And that I think would have been the better way to do it, because it wouldn't be coming with all this crying. If you have to buy more stuff, or there's new things to buy, or everything's more expensive because there's X faucet and you had to pay this tax or this thing, or you may complain a little bit, but hey, at least you're going out and you're still making a lot of ISK. Now you can't do that, and they're hitting you on the back end too. So that's why it hurts. That's why people are getting.
So if you say, okay, we would have done well, we would have done fine, we would have been here. Let's take that part of the equation then. Do the changes become then a tactical advantage or disadvantage for Pappy or for Imperium? Which way does it swing then?
I think it impacts both sides, because both sides were doing the same. I mean, Test, as far as I could tell, was the only one of the big groups that had effectively seen what Goons were doing in terms of industry and copied it, and they were doing just as well. NC came late to that. PL never got there. I mean, Fraternity did to a certain extent. But Test was the one that really took like what Goons did and then made it their own thing. So they had a ton of money. The
Horde's
rest of these
the one that's
guys
doing that now, though.
I don't know.
I would agree with that sentiment. I think Horde's actually developed into one of the strongest alliances in the game, if not the strongest.
They're getting there. I mean, obviously, probably now they're probably number one. I would say number one or number
I
two.
don't know. Fret's pretty dangerous in there.
They are, but they don't have the raw numbers that Horde does. I mean, if they had the wealth, but they have the numbers. If they have the wealth, they don't have the numbers.
Fleets. Like
That's
they have
subjective,
coherent
though.
fleets.
Like if you're in China time zone and Norris like rage pings, then yeah, they're gonna get fucking 2 full fleets just with FRT, and that's not including
But
BBB.
Fraternity's power is time zone locked. It's important to understand as well.
Exactly right. Correct.
Yeah, we have literally zero content in the what will be for a very long time. Just
Which sucks because that was one of the hard parts for us in the beginning when you guys were coming into Fountain was we could not contest anything that was AU China time zone. It was bad. And everybody wants to go and set their stuff to that time zone, hoping that they can alarm clock it, and then you guys come in and kick the shit out of everyone. So it was a bad idea. So everybody moved their timers back. So I don't know. I think in the long run, this game is N+1. It's always been N+1. So when you put together a solid group that can give you more numbers than the other guys, that's a good thing. And I don't think the changes had much to do with it, except maybe, hey, you know what? Everybody's bored. We haven't had any real fights in 2 years. So let's go do it. I mean, I think that argument probably worked as well as, well, they nerf Rorqual, so they can't catch up as much.
It's easy to convince people to go attack Goons, though. It's pretty hard to get everybody to agree to attack Fraternity.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
I
wants to play in
mean-
the time zone. That's awful.
Some people did it for 7 months, so
Yeah.
it's
Let's
So
just
the
see
reality
here.
is, though, after doing one time zone war opposite, I can safely say I would never sign up to do it again.
What do you mean? You did 2, Billy. Why are you lying?
What was the second one?
Don't you remember going against the time zone god himself? Time zone tanking god? I'm sorry.
Sword Dragon. Oh, Sword Dragon?
Sword Dragon, what's wrong with you? God damn it.
We spent the vast majority of our time there fighting Initiative, and that wasn't really a true war for us. PanFam did the majority of that war long before we got there.
PanFam does do a lot of heavy lifting in your wars. I got to admit.
Sure.
Yeah, I gotta say.
But off time
Fam's
zone.
the Galente warfare people, right?
PanFam is Pandemic Legion or Pandemic Family of Alliances.
Well, Pandemic Legion
I'm thinking
are kind of like
of-
Horde runners at this point.
No,
Yeah,
Pandemic
sure.
Legion is Pandemic Horde, PLNC. All have varying strengths, groups, leaders. I would definitely not.
For the nail in the coffin, dude.
Honestly, one of the
Those
biggest
are renters,
surprises
dude.
I've had throughout this war is actually been Headliner. A lot of stuff is said about him and being his enemy for the better part of the last, how many years now? 4 years, I would say. You develop what you think of somebody, and then you start working with him, and it's very different. And I've been really pleased. I think Headliner's one of the most,
Headliner's a bro, man.
Has he rage pinged yet?
Yeah, he's had his moments where he's been unhappy, sure, but like for the most part, those reasons have been pretty legitimate. And I don't know, I've just felt like he's really got his head straight on his shoulders, and he leads a good alliance, and he does a really
don't
good
know,
job
man.
leading his guys. And
I'd be
I
pretty
think-
unhappy too if I've been playing Jackdaws for the past 2 years.
Honestly, if you play this game, you will fly Jackdaws just like Goonswarm does. You will fly Caracals. You will fly Griffins. You will fly whatever. If you're the kind of guy that plays this game, you will fly all the ships and enjoy them all differently. They all have different aspects, different places, different roles. And I think that's one of the great beauties of EVE Online is that all of the ships, for the most part, have a niche, right? There's very few, ships in EVE that don't have a niche.
I do have a question though, if I could ask it, please, Mr. Redline.
Yes, hello.
So we've seen the Chaos era where we had the blackout, and then we had those crazy rats that were blowing up dreads and whatnot. We've come into the scarcity era where we've seen the mineral stocks, and then they've implemented the cores for citadels and whatnot. What are some predictions that you people might have on the next era of EVE?
You mean like what's gonna happen when all the
Because
changes
presumably
are done.
the scarcity era will come to an end because they've named it the scarcity era. So what do you think CCP's next step is going to be?
So you mean like when everything is all said and done and like they start to make things not be scarce?
Yes, once they've accomplished their set goals for reducing, mineral stocks and ISK and whatnot.
Ooh, that's a hard question. I don't know, dude. That's I I don't think we're gonna see the same type of warfare that we see right now.
Here's my prediction.
I think that things are gonna be a lot more similar to how they are in like Tribute and Vale, where there's like a bunch of small groups fighting over just like a couple regions instead of, massive empires holding vast swaths of space.
Okay, see you. Bye.
That was I don't know why he said bye. That's
What was that?
I was some guy.
Random ass dude.
I have an idea.
So here's my idea. I think what's going to happen: dynamic zoning or dynamic regions, right? So the Pashavan, right?
Yes,
The
right down
Pashavan,
your alley.
yeah, the Pashavan I think is a bit of a working example. And if you increase the frequency of that, or you now extend that to other NPC organizations, or even unknown of yet NPC groups,
Now,
you can have either dynamic zoning for them, or you roll that to the player base, and you can now create other zones out of other zones. So you imagine,
now they've also been toying with like the PvP cruisers, like those
right?
instances. I really feel like they're gonna go down like an instance 25-man ship kind of posh fan thing. It's
Right.
really interesting. I really
What
want to play in it.
What if they extend it though, where goons test whoever can strategically go and invade some high sec or maybe low sec areas and do certain mechanics, and then create their own space for invasion. And if they can keep it, great, they keep it. If somehow it falls to the hands of the enemy, then they have a choice: either have a reset mechanic where it goes back to standard sec, whatever it was before, stuff like that, right? So you have to kind of maintain a certain level of whatever. I could see some weird mechanic like that ultimately extending to the player base. I think that would be super exciting. Ultimately, I think they'll start it. There's a chance they could start it with the NPCs and just see what happens if you really shake up the space
Yeah.
and make things difficult. Like that's usually the trend, right? Make it more difficult, but give players options and see what the sandbox does.
Instead of them creating new areas though, I'd like them to like make low to high sec variable on what's going on in the system. Like if there's a lot of people zonking like miners, the system should go lower.
And does anyone have any thoughts on how long they predict the scarcity era will continue?
So we're all broke.
Another
So all the Care Bears are burnt to death.
Another 18 months.
Jesus.
I feel like it's
18 months. That's a bold prediction.
I don't think it's going to be
gonna
that
be
long.
in until people start losing super zinc fountains a lot, dude. Like that's from what I feel the whole reason they brought it in and reduced the fucking EHP on like supers and shit. Like it's gonna be until people start
I
losing
think
cash.
the scarcity will probably keep going on until they finally announce Angel Titans, sons of bitches.
For sure. No, I think the scarcity thing is they just want to turn a big ISK sink, right? And so they have a number and they have a baseline in mind. And when it gets there, that's when it'll be over. And I think it's going to take 18 months. That's just a gut feeling, no real logic or math. Just looking at graphs when the shit comes out. Like, okay, that trend's going to take that long. And there's some people in chat. It could also, I could be completely missing about it. It could be all about the money. It could be literally a cash grab to force people to be worried to spend real money.
It's not a cash grab. It's
As
not a cash grab.
CSM guys, we can both pretty safely say that none of this is cash grab stuff. Like I know people
Fair
always
enough.
talk about their ulterior motives, but selling plex through game changes is never their intention.
And frankly, it's not going to
No.
work anyway, because if there are too few people, all of the changes that they have been making, all really are designed to reduce the amount of plex in the game because nobody's going to be multi-boxing Rorks, nobody's going to be multi-boxing VNIs. So folks were not subscribing those accounts anyway. They were making ISK and they were buying plex and they were plexing their accounts that way. The amount of plex being moved around is going to drop. The amount of ISK that you can buy plex with is going to drop. So the price of plex is going to have to go down because demand's going down at the same time that supply is going down. Prices are going to go down. So at the end of the day, I just there are a lot of shitty things that they could do if they wanted to sell more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
None of this stuff is part of that.
But Brisk is advising you should sell your plex now.
It's more about a balance between creation of ISK and wealth and destruction of ISK and wealth in the game. And they want to balance it more out. If it never swings back to where there's more being destroyed than there is being produced, then they probably won't change it much. It's probably going to be the new norm.
Well, and I misspoke. I said supply will go up and demand will go down is what I meant to say.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've never really. That sounds better. I never thought it was. I personally don't think it's a cash grab. It's just people in the chat were thinking that way. They've never done that. I've been playing this game for a long time, so I think it's more
for people who
Go ahead.
Finish your thought, dude. Finish your thought. Sorry, I thought you were done.
I was just going to say, I've looked at the financial graphs and I've played around, looked at the kind of the trends, and that's where I come up with 18 months ish of looking at it. And to me, it's just about they have a number in mind, they want to get there, and so that's one of their major things they can do is the scarcity component.
You say they have a number in mind and they're going to get there. I don't know what the number is. I have no evidence that they have a number. All I can tell is that they're going to keep. We are literally in the car driving with them, asking, "Are we there yet?" And they're saying, "Sit down, shut up, read a book." We don't know.
If you go read the dev blog about the ecosystem outlook, I don't necessarily think in a way rereading it that it will ever change, because the whole thing says resource distribution update, and they've done that whole thing in 3 phases.
Can I just?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, can I just point something out? So for people who actually, somebody's hot micing, by the way. For somebody who who's buying Plex in order to fund their gameplay, that will cost substantially more. That is why people are saying it's a cash grab.
No, it's important to understand that in all reality it won't. It's important to understand that.
Well, it is currently. It is currently, because I'm one of those people.
The amount
you
of
don't
money,
change the IRL price of Plex, but I need to buy more of it to live my lifestyle, is what I'm saying.
The amount of money
does actually cost me more money.
The amount of earning potential you have determines the price of Plex in general.
Correct.
And that does not change regardless of whatever mechanics are in the game. I'm not probably describing this correctly, but if your
ability, the power of Plex is going up, is what you're saying, despite the fact that I get less of it for the amount of money that I'm spending.
Here is the thing, okay? The more people that buy Plex, the larger quantity of Plex is going to be out there. But there are fewer people that need Plex because they're not playing as many accounts, because the only reason they were playing those accounts was because they could scale them, and it's infinitely harder to scale now than it was 6 months ago.
I disagree.
So with the resulting is going to end up happening is you're going to see these guys, they're going to buy their $500 worth of Plex, they're going to put it on the market for 2.7 mil, and it's going to sit there. And then they're going to get 1 million ISKed down and down and down and down until it's cheap enough that somebody's going to buy it. That's the thing. You're absolutely right. If you're just buying Plex to buy ISK with, that is going to be, I think, in 6 or 7 months, the numbers are going to be pretty bad for that.
The numbers are already really bad for that.
Well, I mean, comparatively, yeah, you're right. It's like 2.7 million. It was 4 million a year ago.
But to be fair, it's been hovering between 2.5 and 2.7 for almost 5 months, right?
That is correct. Yes.
It's not like the price.
So my point is,
so that's kind of the stabilized equilibrium price now is about 2.7 mil. And yeah, it sucks when we were buying, Plex and selling it for 4 million ISK a shot. That was great, but that was unsustainable, and that was back when the price of Plex was too damn high, and everybody was complaining about that. So
right. So my point was just though that when people talk about a quote unquote cash grab. I think that's the thing that they're actually referring to, is that specific group of people, and that's not everybody in the game. Obviously, it's a niche amount of people, but they do have a point in that regard. Is that why CCP is doing it? No, but I can understand why those people think that.
You
For
talking
example,
cash grab? I want to see faction Fortizar skins. I want to see skins on Astra houses. I want to see skins on Keepstars. I want skins on all the things.
No, they have that, right?
They
They
have
have
the ability to do all that stuff.
They have skins already. They're just like you can find I think it's a skin for an Astra or a Fortizar, but it doesn't really change it. But it's an item. I have a clip of it from a few years ago.
We have been pushing these guys for all of these exotic skins, for structure skins, for alliances, all of other kind of stuff. The only thing that makes sense to me as to why that this stuff is not in the game is because I think that they are, and this is not them telling us, this is my opinion. I think they are afraid that if they market it incorrectly, or that if they do it so well that those things become so popular, people are going to buy their alliance skins and never buy another skin, and they're worried about doing that. And that's that frustrates me, because I feel like they're leaving money on the table. And people like me, I buy skins all the time. I did not need this $99 starter pack that they offered today, but it came with 5 skins I can't get any other way, so I bought them.
You can buy them on the market.
Yeah, okay.
From people that got the pack, so I just bought the pack and was done with it.
Yeah.
It's like, I wanted those skins. I will always buy skins. If skins are
And
cool
for
looking,
the
I'll
record,
buy them.
Risk, it's more than 5 skins. You have to buy the starter pack for the destroyer skins. You have to
Oh,
buy a
shit,
different
do I?
pack
Oh,
for the cruiser
son of
skins.
a
You have to
bitch.
buy a different pack for the frigate
Get out
skins.
that, get out that credit card, brother.
To get the swiped.
God damn it.
Loki, I have a question for you.
Swipey,
Do you
no
do
swipey.
PvE? Because buying Plex is not like the only option. You can also like make ISK in game. You know that, right?
No, he doesn't. We've already talked about this like 10
I
times.
don't like PvE, and I think it's a waste of my time. I'd rather be out having fun with my friends.
No, that's a
right.
choice, though. That's a
Burn the
choice.
That's absolutely a
campfires.
choice.
Fuck 'em.
It's my choice. That's my choice.
Yeah,
PvE
and I hear a lot of people say that, oh, PvE in Eve sucks. In reality, is you guys don't try the PvE. It's actually pretty good. I've made a lot of ISK from the newest editions of the Triglavian invasion, like a shit ton of ISK. And guess what? It's only me and my friends running it, and nobody, literally no other group was running it. And then like a couple of Russians added to us, and like 1 or 2 more groups, and that's pretty much it.
Supply will always rush to meet demand when there is money to be made.
That is true. I mean, look, I have tried everything. I have done everything. I still run missions in high sec just to do it, to find out how bad it is. I have a golem that I run my missions in. I've done
Have you
mining.
tried
I've
gate
done
camping?
I've done gate camping. I've done Abyssal Dead Space. I used to run Satonia. Gave me one of his sack fits back in the day. I ran that for a while. I lost like 3 or 4 of them in a row, and I was like, all right, I'm not doing this for a while. But it's just, I honestly, yeah, I've done ganking. I've done all that stuff. I'd rather, my fun in this game is hanging out in
Tried
fleets with my
whale
friends.
hunting?
Of course, we do that all the time. It's just, it's not my kind of, there's certain things that I like to do, and the PvE by myself, I used to sit in Quirius and rat for hours. And then I was just like, why am I doing this?
Yeah,
I can just buy the Plex and be done with it, and I can just go on a plate and not worry about it.
Eve is a game that has different flavors for different people, and
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the beauty of it.
That's what I'm saying, but some people make it sound like CCP's like removing all ISK making capabilities, so people can only buy Plex. Like, hell no. There's so many things you can do.
No, that's absolutely true. You're right.
I don't want to do any of it. So
It's making PvE even more annoying than it was previously. So like with the drone changes and all that, the mining changes, like
What it's doing
just-
effectively is forcing people outside their comfort zone.
Yep.
That is probably the best way to describe it, in my opinion.
Yep.
And unfortunately, there is a lot of PvE in this game that is very easy to both scale and do without using your brain or whatever. But a lot of the PvE in Eve is actually really interesting. Not all of it, mind you. Don't misconstrue me. But trying out the new Triglavian stuff, trying out high sec, trying out low sec, trying out different things. It's all important stuff to do. And if you don't broaden your horizons and try new things, you're never going to experience all of the beauty that's in this game. You know, I have never been a real explorer, but I went out and did it for a couple weeks, you know, a couple months ago, and I thought it was great. It's not something I would do long term, just because I don't have the time to do it with everything else I do. But you know, there's beauty in so many elements of this game, and I think it's just so underappreciated.
I think the only PVE that I really haven't done is PI. I've done pretty much everything else. I've never got into PI. So
You know, I'm pretty sure I've got a random planet in Delve set up for PI right now.
One
I
of
just
my
haven't touched in
biggest
like a
worries
year and a
about moving
half.
out of Vegetaria is I'm going to have to kill my 10 or 15 or 25 characters worth of PI setups and have to reset them up. I'm not happy about that, but
I do that every time I move.
Yeah, moving PI setups is not very fun at all.
yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if PI was like No Man's Sky?
I tried PI for like all of a day,
About
and
No
then
Man's
I was
Sky.
like, no, I can't do that. It's just too
I
much.
did PI at first, but now I kind of like it now that I gotten into it and understand it.
Yeah,
Once you can,
PI
like,
is actually
streamline
really
it.
interesting once you get through the, you know, once you understand what you're doing. It's an actually really interesting, well-developed system.
Yeah, some of the interfaces could be updated. I mean, I understand why.
Yes,
they've done it.
absolutely.
Yeah, I understand why, because they didn't want click bots and all that stuff. They didn't want to make it easy, but okay, they could at least have a couple little additions once in a while to make life a little easier.
You know, that is a
Right.
question that I've got. Can we have something easy in Eve for once? Would that be
There
okay?
is. There's a lot of things that are easy. It's just people don't
Start
play it.
writing what's easy, and they
Name
just
7.
got rid of it.
There's
7 things that are
what?
easy.
Yes.
Cloaky gate camping is 1. PI is 2. Reactions is 3. Invention is 4. You can do research, blueprint research. That's 5. You can run combat sites.
Market
That's
trading is
6.
pretty
And
easy.
market trading is 7. Boom, handled.
But he's not even.
Let's unpack that. So let's go to
Let's.
researching. All right, researching. A lot of that requires a lot of what you mentioned requires a previous amount of ISK you already had.
We've
Like,
turned on the
or
Jeremy
a
bot
skill point.
5000, by the way.
What did you say there, line?
I said we've turned on the Jeremy bot 5000. You are now activated and conversating. I'm here for it.
So let's take that one by one. I don't remember everything you said. It was fast. Cloaky gate camping. That implies you have a group to go with. You have the money, you have the skill points, you have the know-how, and you know what to kill, how to kill it, and what you can kill. It requires a lot of prerequisite knowledge that are an ISK and skill points that not everyone has. PI, same thing. It's like a 14 to 21 day train to get a really profitable PI setup for 300 to 600 mil a month. That's not a great deal of money.
That's a pretty
Reactions, definitely
significant
not.
amount of money, actually, for people who are doing literally, you know, 5 to 10 button clicks and 2 hauler runs.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
per month.
what they have a lot of offers right now where you get the second character training slot and 250,000 skill points. You do that and you put that in, and then use the what is it? The expert cerebral accelerator, and you can get a PI bot with one of the haulers. I suggest the Galante one. And then you can, like about 14 days of training, 18 days of training, and you can have a PI ult. And then you're going to be wondering what to do with the other, 2.5 months, 2 months of the 3-month dual training. But you can just keep getting that character going. I think PI is absolutely the easiest thing to get into.
It's not hard to start. You can do a simple setup of P0 to P2.
Where it gets hard, where it gets hard is PI and high sec is horrible return on your time and investment. Low sec is not bad, and that's where you would need to go. And to even get into low sec can be difficult for new players, or for even people who are
Just
stuck
don't
out
go through
in.
Tamra. Just don't.
Yeah,
go
just
don't
go
go through Tam, exactly.
But you can do like low
Right.
class wormhole PI. It's quite effective.
Okay,
And
well,
Yeah, or you're stuck in a wormhole.
At a profit.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have a high sec static, right? You just choose your hole properly, it'll be okay.
There are a lot of low-sec cartels that will let you do PI for their minuscule tax because it pays them for your work, and you make a lot of ISK out of it too.
Right.
Okay, so depending on where you're at and how much knowledge, it can be really good at money. Okay, Okay, I'll admit that.
Nobody said it was going to be really good money, but it can be good money.
Yeah, you're not going to get
Okay.
space rich, but if you have like 3, so say for example you have one account and all 3 of your characters on that account do PI, you're going to make like 900 million a month off that one account, and that's passive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The reason why I brought it up though is just to Jeremy's point though, on PI is the interface gets knowledge. So bros and people will try it, but then they get annoyed by it after 3 months or 4 months because the clicking or the how do I get into space and how do I get my hauler and how do I stay safe to go to the 5 or 6 planets I have a setup on, and shit, now how do I get my stuff out unless you're just doing a pure high sec thing where you're just doing T4 combines or something. But even then, right? That's where if you're doing T4 combines, then life's easy. But now you need ISK to go buy your T2s and T3s, and now what, right? And so Jeremy, not far off, but it depends on how you look at the equation. Where does hard become hard for the majority of players?
PI is like it's got its pain front loaded. So if you're doing a P0 to P2 setup, all it is clicking a couple of extractors every couple of days and then collecting your goods at the end of the week.
Not even
But-
a couple of days, couple of weeks. If you do a long term and you can get the math down right, you can make that extremely profitable.
Yeah, isn't it?
But again, that's not something every new bro can just walk into and be like, oh yeah.
That's right.
I'm not gonna lie. Actually, most new bros can for the most part.
They
Both
could do
I
it,
know
I
Goons
agree.
have a great guide because I started my PI when I was back in Goons, and I know Test has a great guide. Like literally, if you go through the setup guides that several large alliances have, and I'm sure Brave probably has one as well, and you literally go through step by step those setup guides, it's like batshit easy, and anybody can do it.
There's good guides on from
so
Google
if
as
you're-
well.
If you're basically if you're in a null block, PI is really profitable, is what I'm hearing from this.
If you're in NullSec,
that was my point. That was my point. LOWSEC can.
No, if you're in a null block that actively trades PI mid-tier items, then yes, like Goonswarm does, you can sell your T2, T3 shit. But
You pick the fuel blockchain, you're making ISK.
You need to make
Everyone
an
needs
item
fuel
that
bots.
everyone can use.
Yep.
Are you asking about new bros or something, like people that like just started or like month in? Are you asking about them, Jeremy, or like what's the question?
Well, he's trying to break down what
Yeah,
really is the statement of what's easier or hard, and I think we're in the breakdown, Jeremy. I think we're finding out that it really depends on how you want to measure that. Are you measuring for new bros? Are you measuring for people who are in a null block? Are you measuring for people who have played for 10 years but only live in high sec? It's tough to equate, and that's what the problem is with the blanket statement of, hey, here's the seven easiest things
like
in each.
say for example, if you're doing PI blockchain and your line just stops buying fuel blocks, so they have enough, you're screwed. Like there's no one who else buys fuel blocks, but
there is always people buying.
Dude, I just bought 250K of fuel blocks for the next 2 weeks, like myself.
What if you couldn't do that though? Is what he's saying.
And like, well, if
no,
you
no,
can't,
you just get a fucking freighter and you go up to Jita and you truck it in yourself. Like it's not hard, or you pay somebody to do it.
so you
right?
have to have a
Like,
freighter.
as long as you're willing
have
to
a freighter.
give. No, you don't have to. You can
don't
like.
have
Do you
to,
have
dude.
friends, Jeremy? If you're in
Red
alliance,
Flag, hello?
you should. If you or that actually, Red Fog is great, especially like around.
Well, just to address
my
Jeremy's
part,
point, I want to say yes. For the hypothetical situation that will never come to fruition, in that one case, you will need a freighter.
Well, no, but you have friends. You have It's a fucking sandbox,
my-
dude. You have friends who can do this for you. You just have to pay them a little bit to do those things, right? It's not that big of a stretch of the imagination to say that a relatively new player could still actually make money. Now, is that going to cut into his profits? I mean, maybe, but like that's the fucking cost of doing business. Like part of the sandbox experience is working yourself around these types of roadblocks, right? That's where you get a sense of accomplishment from the game. So if this game were easy, I would not be playing it. If hunting were easy,
no one said
I would not be doing that.
The new bro. Okay, again, let's go back to this is a new player focused thing. So the new player is supposed to pay the collateral fee for fuel blocks, which can get kind of pricey, to haul it up and then set it on the market in Jita and wait for it to move. So now he has no money, possibly even like less than no money because he can't pay for that jump freighter. So he get again sitting on virtually worthless product if he can't pay that jump freighter fee.
If I can interdict for a second, though, the collateral is covered by the jump freighter pilot, not the person shipping the goods.
Correct. And then secondly, the first
cost.
thing this new bro needs to learn, and it's a tough lesson if you don't have somebody to tell you, is you need to go find a good group who's going to be semi-supportive. And then once you found that group, you're going to make some friends. And once you have friends and they're all into the same kinds of things that you are, it's probably going to get substantially easier to make these kinds of things. And if I need to go borrow ISK, I know tons of people that I can be like, yo, can I borrow ISK? I need like X amount.
If a new bro
millions of
asks
ISK
for ISK and like he actually has a plan to spend it, he will be showered with ISK in most large
For
groups.
sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. So
For sure.
so we have a reasonable setup for most groups that fuel block production could possibly, even though it's cutting into your profit. Okay. So we can let's say then that PI. I'll give you PI. I'll give you PI as something that's easy enough for new bros to do. Let's go on to reactions.
Missioning. No. Let's go back. Missioning. If you're a new bro and you're starting out the game, start the arcs. Like I made a new character recently, and they've improved a lot on like getting people to try to play with the lore.
That's a good point, actually. The Eve Epic arc is pretty good now.
So yeah, submissions we got 2. Okay, so reactions, definitely not easy.
Okay, so we're
very
not gonna
intensive, very skill
we're not gonna do this whole thing again.
Yeah, it's
no.
a lot of it. It's
no.
7 of them.
There's a lot of ways. Just
we're
I just
we're
want
not.
to point out. I just
We're
want to
not
point out
doing
that there's a guy doing level 4 missions that has more viewers than Redline all the time. So Ian, just saying.
No, he fucking doesn't. We're the #1 stream for Eve
Just
right
saying,
now.
dude.
Suck my dick about it.
Well, right
Dude
now
doing
because you have
level 4s
Israel
and a
here.
gold.
Come on.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
the guy that has
When you have this
210 right now?
Israel, you're gonna have
Yeah,
viewers.
Redline needs to get his embedded stream and a website game going on here.
It is.
Where are your
it
bots?
is
Where are your
embedded.
bots
It's
to give
embedded
you
on
numbers?
newedenpost.com. Have you guys not seen it? Guys, look, the stream is here too. Go watch it there as well.
You have to have people. You have to have people on your website for embedding to work.
Oh, snap!
Can we get some
Damn,
F's in chat, please?
That's 2 weeks in a row you've bitch slapped someone with that belt.
I just want to point out
Wow.
to people that are in chat that are new bros, don't be afraid. Eve is a great game, and the biggest suggestion I'll give you is the more you
Eve is
invest,
recruiting.
the more you invest into
Israel is
making
looking
ISK,
for Loki people.
you're gonna make even more ISK if you invest more ISK. So the bigger the investment, the bigger the profit. That's what I've learned, and that
Bigger the loss.
still exists.
It's like saying
like a
that's like
gambling
saying
addict.
investing everything in the stock market is gonna mean you're making more money. It doesn't. Eve is a game where the possibility of a loss exists.
Jeremy, but this is the thing. If you're a new bro in this game and you're having that hard of a fucking time, okay, then maybe you need to look into going someplace else because like personal experience, I run a corp. It's a very small corp right now. I have one new bro person that I'm kind of
Bingo.
looking after.
Here's the
Okay,
plug.
and you can go and ask her. No, but I mean, you can go and ask that person, that individual, how they feel about their experience in the game so far. And I think that you'd be surprised, Jeremy. I
And
think if you
Loki
have
choke-
a good corp,
Hey,
and you have
Loki, what's the name of your corp, just in case someone wanted to join?
He's gonna dox her. Don't let him do it.
it's Banana Republic, and we are recruiting.
Bingo!
There you go.
But I wasn't trying. I wasn't
Whoever-
trying to plug. I wasn't trying to plug
Whoever
my
had
corp.
Loki, plug in his corp, take your shot now.
Yo,
I
I am
do it every- I do it
100%
every
gonna
shift,
make a
that's fun.
TTT bingo card, and as soon as we get the skins for the partner program, whoever wins at bingo is gonna get the skins. That is gonna be legit.
I like that idea.
I'm ready
I'll play
for it.
bingo for
So
students.
so Noble Cat brought up something pretty good, and it with
Well,
CCP now
the
inputting
clock
more into
brought us 11 o'clock, which means
Oh.
at this point in time, I am going to say that for anybody who is either watching this on YouTube or listening to it on some kind of podcast service, if I ever upload those again, the show is over for you. However, the show will continue for everybody else who is watching.